Hey, if you don't know who I am, this is the Coding Hub, and I am a part-time indie developer. I share my stories of what I do, how I use my devices to create profitable iOS apps, and in this video, I will go over my tech stack for creating iOS apps. So let's get into it. So first of all, everything iOS app developers need is Xcode. You literally can't create anything without this IDE. I know, maybe with something like React Native, you maybe can get away with it, but personally, I don't like hybrid apps, and I prefer the user experience when they're native. Xcode has everything built in for testing, deploying, and making your app. It even has a local LLM and for tab completion, which is awesome for when you're working offline. It's obviously a much smaller model, so it can only work as a helping hand, but rather than one-shotting certain features with AI. One of the more underrated features is how easy it is to test on the device. So the simulator is absolutely perfect for this. It works really well and it's really smooth, even on a device like a MacBook, a base one with. In addition to this, you also have things like the AI agent on the side, and you can connect this with things like Claude and ChatGPT, and it directly makes changes locally on your device, which is great. And honestly, coming from the Android world, the simulator is one of the strongest features. Just the ease of testing overall on iOS is absolutely amazing. The reason for that is it's just so smooth and easy. If you want to connect your device, then you can easily connect your device and then automatically have it available, and you can test very easily using it wirelessly, for example, which is amazing. That brings me on to the next bit of software that I use, which is Claude Code. It's amazing. It works really well. You can set off things and it just tries to complete them, and it seems to do that very well, and it's efficient and quick. And the best bit is I can actually trigger this off with the cloud agents through my phone. So I can work on this in the evenings. So if I'm in bed, I can trigger off some other releases. And yeah, that works really well for me, because when I am busy working throughout the day, I can then get into bed, and if I've had some ideas, I can then kick them off and get Claude to start working on them. And whilst Claude is working on them, I can then test them in the morning and things like that. So it works really well for my lifestyle, and it does a pretty good job in doing some of the smaller features, and then I need to give it a bit of hand holding for some of the larger features, which is fine, as it still saves me a lot of time. My other go-to big bit of software that I use is RevenueCat. Is absolutely amazing for creating paywalls. You can then A/B test those paywalls, and it really helps with really easily setting up payment system for your applications and easily tracking who's buying, how they're buying, and testing what different combinations of paywalls convert better. And honestly, seeing a revenue notification in the morning when you wake up is one of the best feelings ever. Seeing someone subscribing to your application overnight is honestly really fun, and it's great. And that brings me on to Mixpanel. So Mixpanel is also really amazing. The thing about Mixpanel is it allows you to monitor and see what your users are doing in your application. So I set this up to ensure that I'm tracking to see where people are dropping off, at what points do they stop using the app, which is great because I can try and improve those retentions throughout the application and improve certain bits where people are dropping off and maybe not engaging with. And yeah, it really helps, especially in tracking those week 1, 2, 3, and 4 retentions, which are crucial for your application. But if I'm being honest, I personally don't use Mix that great yet, or any. I've tried other analytics systems like PostHog and Firebase, and I'm still not using them to their full potential. I am recording the data, I'm checking it, but I need to get better at making sense of that data and making the relevant improvements based on that data. So I really need to work on that. And if you have any suggestions for that, please drop some comments in this video to maybe help me out to see what I can do. But yeah, once I figure that out, I will create a video. So if you're interested, let me know. And finally, I use a little application called AppSprint ASO. It's a really good application created by a fellow YouTuber. You should go check out his videos. I've left the link down below. But the application is great. It really helps me understand where I'm going wrong, what keywords I need to focus on. Really helps me to focus on what keywords I need to improve, how I'm ranking for those, what the potential is for those keywords, and then track that in my analytics to see how the downloads are changing and improving, if at all, and sometimes they don't. And yeah, just making sure I am hitting as many things as possible. And yeah, this app has a local MCP server as well, which is absolutely great for working with Claude and getting Claude to give you suggestions for keywords to monitor. So it helps you create some of those titles, subtitles, and keyword lists that you can then use. And it really helps with creating those quickly for lots of different languages, which is very important because you can then track multiple different languages, but also localize this to the different countries, especially languages that you don't speak. And then, yeah, hopefully better target some of those other countries where there's huge potential and a big market, and maybe they're not as well covered by other applications. So yeah, that is me. And that is what I'm currently using. It's a very lean operation, but I am a small indie app developer. And yeah, if you have any recommendations for things I should check out, then I'd love to see them, especially if they're things that will help me get more downloads to my applications or improve my workflow in any way, which will be great. So yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.